a traditional UFO, like a sphere or a saucer, but this shape has been seen since the beginning of UAP or UFOs. They call it the jellyfish UAP. It's in thermal. It was filmed on a weapons platform. You see that there's a dog there. You see the animals are black. I'm assuming this is black hot. You see the object just went to white, and you'll see it going from white to black, white to black. And that's basically showing the heat differential. So it's going like hot and cold, hot and cold. The problem was the optics platform was jammed. These individuals who target with these platforms, they can shoot out an Al-Qaeda tire at 27 miles away, but not being able to lock it was one of the first signs that something's weird. I was able to find direct eyewitnesses and corroborate that this event did happen. When individuals would target in on it with the optics, the way it was described, each of these hanging things, they were stiff, like they weren't moving. They had geometric form, like scales. What was said to me is scales, like an armor. There were also people with night vision who were out and they were tasked to go look for it. Couldn't see it on the night vision. Only in the thermal spectrum could it be seen. But anything that looks like that appears to have a payload, that's a big deal. It could be dangerous, so these are high priority. But what happened is there were a couple other nations involved, and the feeds were shut, just shut immediately. So that put me on high alert too. Why is it completely being shut down? But that's not all it did. It goes out over a body of water. I'm told it stops on a dime, descends into the water, stiff into the water. And for 17 minutes, nothing. And boom, this thing comes up out of the water and shoots off at 45 degrees, just like that. It looks very much like what I've heard that has made incursions into nuclear facilities, because I know for sure, fact of the matter, there is footage from inside a nuclear facility, and I'll just say it, Pantex, that's the one, man. Something that appears identical to this moves between these nuclear silos and shot off again at a 45-degree angle. What it is, I don't know, but now, when it goes over a body of water, I do have some footage of that. This is when that same object, a jellyfish UFO, goes out over this like, you can kind of get an idea by that distance now how far these optic systems can reach. When it gets to that point where it's over the water, every source that I have talked with who is aware of this footage, that footage exists. You've got a UFO or UAP, descends into the water stiff, comes back up, and then shoots off 45 degrees. Now, this was taken by an intelligence agency and buried. So I don't know, man. These are the cases that sparked me.
Neil deGrasse Tyson needs to grow up. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is jealous. You can publish that. He's acting more like an astrologer than an astronomer. He's acting more like a priest. Look at the people who are the most against it. They're actually not practicing scientists. They're opinion scientists. When's the last time any of these people have actually been anywhere near a laboratory or near a measurement device?
The signal we get from it is elongated, but it's probably a rubble pile stretched into that shape. Because you don't get that by nature. You don't get that.
Yeah, that's why it's man-made. Alien-made.
You want that to be aliens. That's what, just fess up. You want that to be aliens.
Of course I want that to be aliens.
Okay.
These people should be forced to give back their PhDs. If you're not going to honor your oath of how you're going to address and approach data and openness to ideas, and you're going to use ridicule, you've lost.
If this were aliens in some kind of advanced ship, it would be maneuvering. Because a tennis ball would have that trajectory moving at that speed. That's all.
Is there any chance that's a tennis ball?
No.
What the hell is going on?
There is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thick. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers, and that's how we're mentioned in the documents. That religion was specifically created, so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers.
The souls? Meaning?
Well, the souls or the bodies, whatever. That's
meaning like we're containers for souls that they're going to use at some other point.
Right.
And that they had something to do with different prophets and biblical figures.
Yes. There is
of the ancient technology used to create the sword of Gujian. This ancient sword is considered one of the sharpest in the world. It was discovered in 1965 in a waterlogged tomb in China and has been dated to be over 2,400 years old. When pulled out of its wooden sheath, the blade of the sword was still shiny and new, with two extremely sharp edges. In fact, an archaeologist had his hand cut by the sword, even though he only lightly touched the blade to test its sharpness. Scientists say that the reason this sword has retained its sharpness for over 2,000 years is because it is coated with a special alloy called chromium sulfide. Interestingly, chromium sulfide is a rare metal and very difficult to extract because melting it requires extremely high temperatures of nearly 2,000 degrees Celsius. The question here is how, over 2,400 years ago, people were able to make this sword. Especially when it wasn't until 1937 that modern humans invented a method for extracting chromium. This discovery once again shows that from ancient times, humans may have possessed many advanced technologies, but for some reason, they have gradually been lost over time. The mystery
Con el mío sí se alcanza a ver bien, güey. Ahorita se los paso. de loco. Para allá no me dejan ir, de loco. Para allá no me dejan ir, de loco. Para allá no me dejan ir, de loco.
Yo, what is that? turn down some of the brightness. Watch right here. You can see something really tall and kind of translucent. Now here I'm going to back it up so you can slowly see it. You see how tall that is? And it's walking in front. Right there. You see it. And then it kind of disappears into the darkness. Now, here's the video where I edit it with color. You'll see it right there. See it? By the palm tree. And now it's going to walk in front of that building. And see how it's kind of translucent and really tall? And then it disappears. Here we go, one more time. You can kind of see its form. Now watch. It literally walks and it's like...
And I had a drone on board, so I thought it would be a nice night to catch a sunset. I had the drone in my hand, and someone said, "What's that?" And we look up, and there was, I put it on TikTok, it looked like a black jellyfish, a gigantic black jellyfish, and it sailed right over the retreat, directly through the center line of the ship, right through our X and our stack, and just floated through. Thing was, we had no wind, maybe 5 knots at the time, but this thing was cruising along about 10-15 miles per hour, just cruised right over, and as it passed the stern of the ship, it went a couple hundred meters, maybe 300 to 400 meters, and then it started to descend into the water. But because it was sunset, we couldn't put a rescue boat down to go see what it was, but it disappeared into the water, and we have no idea. It wasn't a drone, there was no noise associated with it, so if you want to see our UFO, it's on TikTok.
What is? I thought it was the drone. No.
Hey, come here. Bro. Come on, looking right at us. I don't fucking be here. Looking at us, yo. There go, we're here. Everyone sees it, yo. You guys step back. I'm not fucking with you. Alright, let me get this. We gotta go home. We'll get the fuck out of here, yo. Brian, come on. Everyone's looking, yo. Let's go. Brian, come here. Bro. Come on, looking right at us. I don't fucking be here. Looking at us, yo. There go, we're here. Everyone sees it, yo. You guys step back. I'm not fucking with you. Alright, let me get this. We gotta go home. We'll get the fuck out of here, yo. Brian, come on. Everyone's looking, yo. Let's go. Brian, come here. Bro. Come on, looking right at us. I don't fucking be here. Looking at us, yo. There go, we're here. Everyone sees it, yo. You guys step back. I'm fucking with you. Alright, let me get this. We gotta go home. We'll get the fuck out of here, yo. Brian, come on. Everyone's looking, yo. Let's go.
All right, look. So look, y'all thought I was playing. I know y'all see those lights. Look at them. Not them little ones because my little mirror thing scratched up. I know you see those right there, floating. Oh my, bruh, this every day out here, or every night, but still, look at that. Bruh, this really in Miami. I'm not playing. Look, the airport is right over here. That's the airport. You know what I mean? They always got little lights and stuff. You know, it's probably airplanes. But over here, this ain't the airport. Look at that. And them clouds not even moving. How the whole cloud not gonna move? It's just sitting there at nighttime. It's crazy. Look, ain't no other clouds in the sky. But right over here, look at them. And look at those lights. Bruh, y'all could, hey. Oh wait, it's a couple clouds right here, but look, they just frozen too.
Ciudad Netzahualcóyotl, 26 de diciembre de 2018, 1:24 de la madrugada. El doctor Jaime Lune Becerra y su hija tuvieron un encuentro con una extraña entidad, la cual bajó flotando del cielo sobre la calle y después parece caminar con unas extremidades que salen de su cuerpo. Dos cámaras de seguridad afuera del domicilio del doctor Lune Becerra registraron cómo se desplazó la extraña entidad bajo el espectro infrarrojo. En un momento presenta lo que podrían ser extremidades y comienza a caminar. El doctor Lune Becerra llegó unos minutos después y observó frente a frente al ser que se encontraba detenido cerca de un árbol. En compañía de su hija observaron cómo el ser comenzaba a regresar y entonces se alejaron y entraron a su casa.
Me llamó mucho la atención que al lado izquierdo, como a donde está el tope adelante de la casa, se veía una especie de esfera luminosa que subía, bajaba, subía y bajaba. Yo primero pensé que eran adornos de Navidad o que eran series que habían puesto, pero posteriormente me di cuenta de que pues que no podía hacer eso porque de repente daba prolongaciones y luego se volvía a regresar. Y luego se volvió a regresar y daba prolongaciones y yo dije, no, pues eso no es normal. Me quedé viéndolo más o menos como unos 3, 4 minutos. Le digo, pues no sé, le digo, nomás pueden ser dos cosas. Le digo, ¿es una bruja o es un extraterrestre? Y cuando le dije, oye, ella se echa a correr y se queda ahí en la puerta. Entonces, pues yo le digo, agarro y yo tomo la actitud de acercarme un poco más. Pero cuando quise avanzar hacia allá, de repente, como en las películas que hemos visto del depredador, como que se camuflajeó como una forma, especie así como de humana, pero a la vez como transparente, no sé cómo, y ya venía hacia acá. Entonces fue cuando pues sí me dio, pues dije, ¿qué es eso? Y me eché a correr y bueno, no me eché a correr, pues ni puedo correr porque tengo problemas con las rodillas, pero me metí rápido y ella pues se cerró de aquí y yo entré por acá, por este lado.
Entonces yo vi como luces o sea, sobre la calle.
Ciudad Netzahualcóyotl.
We have heard through a lot of people that with the UFO thing, that we're considered containers. And this is like killed me. What does this mean? Container of what? Have you heard this before, that in the UFO lore that we're containers? What do you make of that? Containers of what? What does that mean?
Well, I don't actually know if the first instance of that coming out was through Bob Lazar. I'm not sure, but it's. I know in Linda Moulton Howe's work that phrase came up, and I know of a couple of other instances that seem to be independent where it's come up. I believe now. I mean, this is a. I can't say that I can prove this.
No, this is just because I'm curious what you think, man, because this is just having the convo with friends, you know?
I personally have a belief in a soul. I believe in that. I believe that I have a soul. I believe that you guys have souls. I believe that we all have a soul. And I don't know if I always believed that, but I think I believe that now. In fact, I'm pretty sure I believe that now. And we tend to think in our society, we think of spiritual things with an ethical component, because we have the Judeo-Christian tradition where there is a very strong ethical orientation to spirituality. But what if there's a society that has spiritual technology, but doesn't necessarily have the same ethics about spirituality that we might have? What if for them, they're naturally telepathic, which I think maybe. And what if they are naturally aware of a spiritual realm that we are not always naturally aware of? Just what if? So if that's the case, it would be something that they would deal with in a very practical manner. And would they have the ability to remove and insert souls into bodies? That's really the question. So if they do, the body would be the container.
So like to mature a soul like a good wine, is that could be the implication from our theoretical thinking here?
If you posit the existence of a soul, if it's believable, which to me it is, and if you hypothesize that other societies can recognize this and deal with it technologically in some way, maybe through some kind of quantum field technology that I certainly cannot understand. Could you transport souls in containers and then apportion them out into bodies? I mean, all right, it sounds like sci-fi. Maybe that's all it will ever be. But when I hear containers like that, it does make me think they're soul containers.
Yeah, I just want to get your opinion on it. You know, I think maybe we're informational containers. We're more like transmitters than we are anything else. Our physical body seems to form, and maybe we're holding some sort of technology that's part of a plan. I don't know. I'm just talking as a friend now because me and my buddy's been talking about this a bunch. I figured I'd get your take. Picture stuff.
We just found out today, a very, very, very 100% credible source told our group that the Senate, excuse me, Congress right now has 16 UFO films, UAP films. 5 members of Congress. Now, I don't know if that means Senate or the House. I think a mixture have seen these. They've watched them. And according to our source, who was there, he's a staffer. I won't say who, but he's a staffer, and he gives us all this inside information. So I can't disclose his name, obviously, but he said it scared the dickens out of the 5 that were in there. Now, 6 of these videos that they've watched were crash recovery videos. One of them is over 41 years old. It lasted 10 hours. It was originally on a 16 millimeter film. That's what they used back in those days. The military used the film. And it was, I guess, transferred over to 11 DVDs. And they didn't watch the entire 10 hours, but they watched segments of it. The person that was briefing them had them broken up in segments regarding the retrieval, the crash retrieval. The other ones involved, also these crash retrievals involved pictures of bodies, extraterrestrials. Now, I don't know who these 5 members of the Congress who saw these things, but I think Burkett had hinted to the fact that he knew about these videos. He didn't know, I don't think he mentioned 16, but there are 16, and they've been released by a alphabet agency, and I'm not going to say which agency because I don't want to get the staffer in trouble.
NBC. No.
We just found out today, very, very, very 100%.
Look. You need to get the boys. Did the kids come out to look?
Yeah, like how did that?
Did you see it though when it was over here? It looked so crazy. It looked like it's on fire.
It is. Here.
I don't think that's it. That sound comes from over there.
That's the noise, isn't it?
What the heck? Look at it, boy. Look at it. Look at it. That don't even look normal.
It really looks like a hole in
it. Like it turned into a spirit.
I was there at the Bayside Mall with my family, and we all saw exactly what happened. Don't pay attention to a lot of the videos that are out there. I feel like a lot of people are trying to use this for clout. But what happened, we all saw what happened, and it's pretty serious. you know, it's been a few days, and you know, our whole family's processing it, but I think we've kind of like accepted that we were a part of this weird experience and moment. So basically what happened was I was there with my brother Brian, my sister and my nephew. We were looking for shoes for my nephew, and then we see a whole crowd of people outside the store just running out in a direction. So, you know, as soon as we saw it, we were like, oh shit, you know, what's going on? So we immediately ran out with our nephew, and you know, we picked him up and we ran out and we followed the crowd. And then about like a few seconds later, as soon as we started running, my nephew, he's autistic, so he was pointing behind us and he was saying blankie, which he'll usually say whenever he feels unsafe or scared. And he was pointing behind us. So me and my brother, we look behind us, and then we see these 3 9-10 foot tall creatures. I'm not gonna say aliens. Everyone keeps saying it's aliens. I'm not saying aliens because I don't know what it was. None of us really knew. Everyone, all of us stopped in our track. We, you know, a whole bunch of people were pointing at it. I mean, there were other people running. You know, there was a crowd. As soon as it made itself more apparent, it looked like it was glitching, not like a computer pixelation, but like a wavy glitch. And whatever maybe was covering them had, you know, unveiled or whatever. Yeah, it looked like a glitch, man. It like a weird glitch in the Matrix or whatever. And then you could see it in its full form, all 3 of them. And then, you know, they were all black. You saw eyes, and you could faintly see like lips. But, yeah, I was about like 20 feet away, because obviously everybody gave it distance, right? And, you know, they're tall. So we all just like looked at them. They were just standing there. And the thing that was a little bit weird, well, it was clearly like observing us. It was sentient, right? Like, or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but it was aware of us. It looked at us, the whole crowd, and then as soon as it started walking with its big legs, like kind of like it started like almost glitching again, we all ran. My brother like immediately said, yo, let's go. He grabbed me by the shoulder. We bolted out of there. And for anyone that's like saying, you know, where's the footage? Yeah, I know. I don't have any footage, and I'll explain why. Because like when I saw it, I was in complete fear. It was something that I completely froze, man. I don't care if I sound like a bitch about it. Like, I froze. And I don't care who you are. I feel like when you're seeing something paranormal, it's different than when you're seeing a fight. Yeah, you'll probably want to record that and put it on WorldStar or whatever. When you see something paranormal, that's different. Because your reality, you can't comprehend what you're seeing. A fight, you kind of get it. 2 people are fighting. You can comprehend that. Something like this, none of us could comprehend. Your first instinct is like, it ain't to like take out your phone and start recording. Your first instinct is like, I've never seen this before. What is this? Is it gonna hurt me or my family? That was my first #1 priority. So if you don't believe me, I get it. You know, it's fine. Like, it is silly. I'm sure that someone had footage from that night. If you did, please contact me just so that, you know, we actually have it. So anyways, as soon as the creature started moving, we all just jetted out there. We ran out the front doors. And, you know, obviously, like, we see a whole sea of cop cars, mad cop cars, where other ones were coming in. And we ran with our nephew, and then, you know, a cop stopped us. You know, they took us to a bit of a safer area behind the cars. And they asked us what we saw. And we told them what we saw. You know, they wrote it down, and they asked everybody to check their phones. Not everybody, because there was mad people like running away too, right? They couldn't get everyone. So I'm wondering if someone's gonna post a video. But yeah, they looked through everyone's phone. I didn't record anything, so I was fine. None of us recorded anything, so we were basically free to go. But in the distance, you could still see, like, you know, I didn't see the beings come out the door, right? But you could see on the side of the building, kind of like that clip that everyone's seeing, that it was slowly walking, and it was like, it wasn't cloaking or glitching or whatever. It was walking. So I don't know if it seemed more like it was an interdimensional thing. Someone's coming into our dimension or whatever, a bunch of them. And I think, you know, that it was just interesting, the police response, because there was a whole bunch of them. This ain't for no teenagers. No, this was for something way bigger. And it almost seemed like the cops had like a already made strategy for it, because they surrounded one of the beings with like all their police cars. They blared it up even louder because you could hear that it was louder. Maybe as an attempt to like distract it or let it know like, hey, you don't belong here, right? And you know, they were trying to like slowly move alongside with it. But I didn't see anything else after that, because me and my family, we got out of there. We went into our car, we went home, because you know, we had our nephew with us, and we went to make sure, like, you know, he was okay. So I'm still kind of like processing everything. Like, it's weird, but at the same time, I'm glad that we weren't alone in seeing it, because like it was a whole bunch of us that saw it. And it feels kind of like, you know, you're part of something like really big, but at the same time it's confusing, because like you want to kind of like show people, like, I wish I took a video, man, like, because people are gonna probably think I'm crazy, right? But yeah, I'm left with more questions. Like, we were all kind of left with more questions than anything else. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's aliens. I know everybody's saying it's aliens. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is I saw something come in through like a weird glitchy, maybe a portal or whatever. And it was like, they were pretty tall. You could see some facial. They were very dark, like, and shiny. But I can't tell if it was like a wet shiny or like a metallic shiny. And yeah, and you know, long limbs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, long limbs, long fingers. They were definitely humanoid in shape, and shadowy. But that, maybe that shadowiness was like from a glitch or whatever, like whatever cloaking maybe they had like fell off. But yeah, it felt like something was coming into our world or whatever, like a fucking Stranger Things episode. But
has provided evidence as to what the nature of the pilots of the particular Tic Tacs in a Fast Walker, in the gimbal. No one knows what those pilots look like. What they do know is what the pilots look like of some of the craft that they've retrieved, that has actually gone onto the ground, you know, and that they know that these beings, you know, are anywhere from 3.5 to 4 feet tall. Some of them have actually been taller than that. And, you know, it's classic. You know, it's got the large rounded head and the big almond-shaped eyes, black eyes, and 3 fingers on their hands, arms and legs, a regular trunk, very humanoid, actually, in their appearance. And that those are some of the biologics, we believe, that have been actually recovered and tested. And the DNA tests show that they're non-human. Now there are other species that have been witnessed by extremely credible sources. That one of these other species are a full 6 feet tall, and they are, and people get frightened by the idea, but they're reptilian. That they actually are large, kind of humanoid reptoids.
Right.
But now, to keep people from being frightened by that, each one of us goes through that phase. We went through the phase in the evolutionary process, through the reptilian phase, and in the womb, each and every one of us has gone through a phase where the zygote is kind of reptilian. because this is tracking the kind of historical biological evolution of our species. And so that what we're talking about is a humanoid other species that is just at a different stage of its physical evolution, where the reptilian manifestation of the species continued on into a highly intelligent and highly technologically developed form. One has provided evidence as to what the nature of
Antarctica melts under its hottest days on record. All that melting has provoked many people to start looking more and more closely at newly revealed land in Google Earth ground images of Antarctica. One place in particular is along the Wilkes Land coast, marked here as strange structures in East Antarctica. Also in that region is the WLMA, the Wilkes Land Magnetic Anomaly. Further to the west is the American McMurdo Base on the Ross Sea in the lower left, and in the upper left of the map is the South Pole. The strange structures are clustered at the same latitude and longitude, and you can see those red lines underneath each. Those mysterious structures include what looks like roof coverings over something deeper. The map was produced by retired U.S. Navy Captain Mark Wood to study the strange structures to see if he could learn more about their sizes. Captain Wood served as a navigator communicator, tactical coordinator, and mission commander in his 25-year U.S. Navy career. We are going to begin with the bottom of the list of latitudes and longitudes underlined in red. And that one is a structure labeled on this map a semi-elliptical shaped cavern roof that I'm also calling an oval lid. It is 66 degrees, 16 minutes, 24 seconds south, and 100 degrees, 59 minutes, and 4 seconds east.
I realized that there was a dark shadow on one side of this object, which definitely shows that it is above the ice sheet underneath it. And the dimensions on this, it's not circular. This thing looks like half an ellipse and sort of flat. And it's about 60 feet out from the ground that you can see it attached to. And it looks to be somewhere between 10 and 12 or 10 and 15 feet off the ground based on this shadow you can see when you orient this image correctly. If this was a full ellipse, it would be 120 feet by 60 feet. We're seeing half of it, so we're seeing 60 feet by 60 feet. This appears to be a roof-type structure that's covering something we can't see, perhaps the entry into an underground cavern.
Back at our map, where several strange structures are near the same latitude-longitude, you have another anomaly 42 miles from the ellipse roof that is labeled Artificial Appearing Cavern Roof. It's at 66 degrees, 36 minutes, 11.03 seconds south, and 99 degrees, 43 minutes, 13.24 seconds east.
Yeah, the oval lid, I'll call it. It definitely looks artificial. It's a smooth surface with some molded ridges on it, and there's no doubt that it's covering up part of the cavern. And when you rotate it around, all of a sudden it jumps at you that this is some sort of an artificial covering to go down into a cavern, and you can't see how deep it is. You can see the dark hole next to the ice and snow by the entrance.
And you could speculate that if it's 42 miles from the oval lid covering up something underground, that this whole area, the 42 miles from the oval lid to this sort of rounded, raised lid, it could be covering a huge underground base.
It could very well be with multiple entry points.
Let's go back up to the pin where you have octagon-shaped berms from YouTube video. we have been looking at these sort of octagonal patterns for about 2 or 3 years, wondering what they are. And now you've got a location that appears to tie them to these lids.
Yes, photographs of 4, 3 that are close together and 1 a little bit further away. And they appear to be artificial, I'll call them berms or trails in the ice and snow that form the shape of an octagon. The trails go from an inner circle to an outer circle in all the cases, and it appears that the inner parts of these are uncovered. There is no snow or ice next to them. So all I can think of is that there is some sort of a protective berm for wind protection or something else that has identified an area where something has gone on or is going on.
Why do you think, like this one that you sent me, it has very clear demarcation lines? It is as if a pattern were superimposed in this snow and ice.
It's got me baffled. It appears to be that somebody has made some sort of a circular design on the outer diameter and then made an inner circle, but there were connecting lines in between the two. But it's definitely an artificial group of lines.
2 years ago, I think we had 1 of these. Now we've got a photograph of 3 in 1 and a separate one, so that's 4.
Right. These are 14 miles away from this oval-shaped group that we've been identifying now here recently. They are located in Wilkes Land, and they run sort of parallel to that coast, 60 miles in from the sea. The images that we have are from 2006. There are no new images of this area. The newest images that are shown on Google Earth are 2006. So we're looking at ice that's 14 years old.
Can we get any current images today?
No, because when you start to zoom into this area and get the most recent image that shows these things, it's a 2006 image. And there are no newer images that are listed on Google Earth for this area.
Doesn't that mean to you, Mark, with your background as being a Navy captain, that this is evidence of deliberate, whether it's somebody telling Google or telling NASA or whoever, a deliberate policy to keep current images of a place like Antarctica from the public?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that there is some type of government intervention in what Google is allowed to see. And if you consider that most of the satellite imaging that they use comes from government satellites, then the government basically can give them what they want and keep from them what the government wants. Now the question is, are there commercial satellites that have the resolution, that have data that's newer than 2006 of these areas? And that I don't know, because we all go to Google Earth when we start to look at the Earth's surface.
The maps have been manipulated, but the ice is melting, and there may be more and more revelations in spite of policies of denial in the interest of national security.
Yeah. Well, we both know that Antarctica is locked down more than the Pentagon is. Obviously, somebody has a reason.